Welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Clearly you want to know where it all started for Phil Beckwith, the professional painter and decorator. And I'll tell you where it all started. This wallpaper is where it all started. And you're going to say, why? Why, Phil? Why is this the paper that you started with? Well, I'll get onto the money in a bit. I'll get onto where we are in a bit. Of course I will. But let's just give you a bit of background. Back in the early days of COVID and lockdown, I was surfing the net and seeing a few things, painting and decorating related, on the internet, on YouTube. And I thought to myself, there's a lot of information there it's wrong. It's that people are telling people the wrong things. So January 2000 and let's call it 21, I started on the journey of a YouTube channel. Now, it started off very slowly and it picked up. But my very first video was papering this wall. And if you want to see that and see how crude, I'll say crude, the videoing is, that's the very first video that I actually put onto YouTube. But yes, I felt I'd got the, as we say, credentials to be able to tell people more about painting and decorating. And I bang on about, I've got my advanced craft. I've been to college, I've served an apprenticeship, got me indentures, went on to do teacher training, got my teacher training certificates and did a bit of part-time lecturing at Bayswater College in Nottingham. So I do feel subject knowledge, I do know me stuff. And I know there's a few haters out there that I might rub up the wrong way. But there's also plenty of people that are enjoying the channel, and I'll say a big thank you to them. And a big thank you goes out to the people that are supporting me either by buy me a coffee, or if you look below, there's the super thanks. But I'll come on to that on the main video. So let's crack on to that. Or let's crack on to it. Let's just get on with it. See you in a bit. Welcome everybody, this is Phil Beckwith, the professional painter and decorator. The professional painter and decorator, the professional painter and decorator influencer on YouTube. And you say, what do you mean influencer, Phil? Well, apparently become an influencer on YouTube when you hit that 1,000 subscribers. And I hit that 1,000 subscribers virtually to the day 2 years ago. Yes, the beginning of November 2021. I accomplished, and who'd have thought it? Family and friends never thought that there'd be 1,000 people or more interested in watching paint dry, and particularly with me, Phil Beckwith, telling them all about it. But joking apart, let's just give you a bit of a. If you don't know, let me just tell you. This might be a long video. It might not be. Let's see how let's just see how we go. Right, being a YouTuber. To become successful, to become somebody that earns money from YouTube, how does it all start? How does it work? I've got to be honest, I'm still new to it and I don't really understand it. I don't understand about algorithms. I don't understand about the process of doing your videos and getting the subscribers really quickly. Some channels get that, possibly because of the nature of their niche or what they're really talking about. But just for those that don't know, to become somebody that earns off YouTube, you need 1,000 subscribers, which I did in the November of 2021. You've got to have had 4,000 hours worth of watch time, which I did easily within 6 months of starting my YouTube channel. And those of you that know me will say, well, that's quite easy, Phil, when you're doing 30-minute to an hour videos. Well, yes, we know about that. And the other thing is, once you've hit those two criterias, your 1,000 subscribers and your 4,000 hours worth of watching time, you've got to have generated enough revenue from those watch times to generate, in the UK, £60. Yes, £60. Now, let's jump back 2 years. November 2021, I'd hit that 1,000 subscribers and I applied to YouTube, like you do. You'll get information about this elsewhere, to become a monetized YouTuber. Now you have to apply to YouTube, give all the details. Just long and short of it is, you get bank credit checked and things like that. Now, once you pass all that and you get a little bit of money from YouTube / Google sent into a bank account, it's a nominal amount. You have to register that money back to Google to say that you've received it. It might be pence, literally pence, and then they know that account is actually active and working. You will then start to be paid. Now, you've got to have hit £60 or more before you get paid. It gets worked out at the beginning of each month and you get paid towards the end of the month. So for me, I went monetized at the beginning of November 2021, as I keep telling you, but I didn't hit £60 worth of revenue in November. I fell short at around about £55. Now, if you've watched my video there on my first YouTube paycheck, you will see how much money I actually earned. Wasn't a lot. So the second month we went into December, and again, I hit roughly about 50 something pounds, which made it, I'd gone over that threshold of £60, which was great. But unfortunately, you didn't see that total amount of money, which equated to roughly about £110 until the end of January 2022. But saying that, the ball was rolling for Phil to take over the world with painting and decorating on the internet / YouTube. Fast forward to 2023. Right. I know there's people that probably don't like me. Do you know how thick my skin is? I don't care. I know there's a lot of people that do appreciate me. And I know it might be just friends and family. But I think there's people out there that are actually liking the content of the videos that I'm doing. And behind me, I've managed to rig up my laptop down on the floor to produce a screen behind me. That's as far as I go with technology. Never mind. But you're here because you want to know how much I've actually earned. Now, if you watched that video last year while I was in Barbados, let's just name drop Barbados and the Sandals Resort, you'll have watched that and seen that in my first year of being monetized, I saw about £1,800. But since then, actually, I'm going to say the channel has actually snowballed. It's actually quite quickly gained momentum, which is great. Because if you go back to the 2021 of November when I hit 1,000 subscribers, 2 years later, and I know it's slowly we're getting there, but I am over 7,000 subscribers 2 years on, which I can't believe. I'm not going to put a tear in my eye, but I can't believe in 2 years I've seen an increase of 6,000 subscribers, which is great because subscribers hopefully equals people watching the videos, hopefully. But you want to know how much I've earned. But before I get on to that, I just want to give you a little bit of background that goes into being a YouTuber, because it's not all plain sailing. It's not as easy as you think. And I can understand now what goes into becoming a successful YouTuber for all the other people that are out there. So don't knock it until you've tried it. And I don't want to say that as a grandmother sucking eggs or be negative and horrible to anybody, but before you start criticising people, me, anybody else, just appreciate that work goes into what people do, whether it be good or bad, whether you like their content or not. That person still puts a lot of time and effort into it. And that's my next little bit that I want to talk about. I've got a few notes there because there's some facts and figures that I want to tell you that I might forget. But let's just start about this thing about YouTubing. It's all very easy. Pick up a mobile phone and do a bit of filming and upload it to YouTube. We know all about that. But if you want to go to the next level, and I'm going to say it as somebody that's a little bit IT dyslexic, but I do know a little bit about working away and a computer. But let me just give you let me try and make it hit home to you what, particularly for me, is involved with doing these videos and editing them and getting them onto the internet for you to watch. So I'm going to just run down a few things. Right. Just think the time that it takes me to make a video. Think about that. So sometimes videos, particularly when I'm in my studio, and I say that studio, my garage is converted at the moment. There's no Porsche in there. My car that would be in there is outside under a weatherproof bag because Mr. Beckwith, the YouTuber, has now got a studio in his garage to make some videos. That's another story. But there's times where I've got to do it over half a day or a couple of days. That's when I'm in the studio. If I'm on jobs, it might be over a couple of days or it might be over a day. So just think about the time that it takes me to actually film a video. On top of that, I bring it back. I take it off the camera because I've actually got a nice camera. I've not got it next to me and filming on it. That's a bit of a, yeah, never mind. What camera am I using? I'm using a Canon M6 and it's a mirrorless camera, and I've only just found out recently that Canon are dropping the mirrorless cameras, which is a shame because it's a lovely camera for doing these sorts of editing, these sorts of YouTube videos. So I've got a nice compact decent camera that films my videos. I bring that back, take the SD card out and I put it into a computer to download it to the computer to edit the videos. Now, some of you already know, and some of people are actually giving me some super thanks below, and any money that I do generate from super thanks goes towards video editing software that I'm currently paying for, which is roughly just under £10 a month. So, right, let's get back to video editing. Right, video editing might take me, couple of hours a night per video, depending on what I'm doing to it. And we had a little bit of an issue with that because I was on the understanding that I'd got a decent laptop. It was a Dell laptop. I'd got 16 gig of RAM in separate memory bricks as well to save stuff on. I'd got a nice laptop. But I was finding when I was editing my videos and I was editing in Adobe Rush Express, you know, the, I was not the free version. I started off on the free version and then I've gone on to the paid version. But once I'd edited a video, what you have to do is export it back to the computer ready to put onto YouTube. Now, a 20-minute video was taking me 2.5 hours to export and render. In that time, I couldn't do any more editing because that had froze that editing software. Now, after a bit of research, I've realised that it was down to a graphics card on the laptop wasn't powerful enough and I needed more memory space. So just recently, let's just say I've had to spend a small fortune on a decent laptop stroke computer that has got more than enough dedicated graphics card with memory, and now I am working off a Dell decent gaming computer stroke laptop. Now, a 20 to 30 minute video is now rendering and exporting onto the laptop in 4 minutes. Yes, 4 minutes. So I've actually gone from losing 2.5 hours of my life down to 4 minutes. So yes, thank you very much. I've spent a small fortune and I am reaping the rewards back on time saved. That said, that's taking up a lot of time. That's one video is taking me a good couple of hours in an evening. You already know I am banging out 2 videos a week. I'm banging out 2 videos a week, and I've also got roughly about a month's worth of videos in front of me. So as you're watching this at the beginning of November, I have already got videos lined up for the next 3 to 4 weeks into early December, or at least end of November. That all takes time. So if you take on that, I've got 8 videos a month going out. 16 hours minimum of video editing. I've worked that one out, really. It's a lot of time, isn't it? 16 hours. When I'm not doing video editing, I'm probably doing a bit of research on the internet, on YouTube, looking at how to improve on my video editing skills and bits and pieces like that. So I'm not just sitting here surfing the net doing nothing. If I'm not editing videos, I'm also doing that research, which is taking a bit of time up. I'm not saying it's putting me in a divorce court situation, but my wife is a little bit sick of me laughing at myself when I'm watching a video back. So, right, that's that page done. Let's move on to the next one. Right, next bit I just want to talk about briefly I know some people moan at me. Right, I struggle doing a quick video. And if you see by the content that I've got, 20 minutes, average 30 minutes for a video might be the norm for me. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, I'm going to say to you, get back over to TikTok, Facebook Reels and Instagram. Because I'll be honest, to show people how to do something with the skill set that's needed to show somebody properly, there is no way I can do that in a 30-second quick video, which you can't. That's why you see somebody touching a wall, touching a brush on a wall, and it's changed. I like to explain the process of how I've got to where I am with that painting, explaining about paints and things like that. So that's that one. I'm sorry, but it had to be said. It's a little bit like, I keep banging on about going to college, and not everybody's been to college, but I was 4 years at college, did my apprenticeship, and I was at college on a day release, 1 day a week, and the other 4 days I was actually, and I'm very lucky, and I know I'm very lucky, I'm in a family business and I work in a family firm, which my father set up in 1965. Brian, who was his apprentice, started with us in 1966. They're both still working today. I'm in a very privileged position to be in an established painting and decorating business. That said, I've still done my apprenticeship with indentures, with the correct paperwork and certificates. And I did do craft certificate, City and Guilds, and did the extra year to do the advanced craft. And I passed. Well, I got distinctions and credits, and well, I think I only got 2 credits, so the rest were distinctions. And I think that was probably on my written work, but I did all right. I did all right. And it's a bit like I'm trying to explain how to do something on a video that's taking 20 minutes. It's very hard to do, but trust me, my experience that I've got over the last 3 years, plus my knowledge of textbook teaching, with me also being a lecturer as well, I hope I can put across the knowledge I've got in a 30-minute video. But going back to being at college, that period of time at college learning is so beneficial. I always say you can't learn painting and decorating on a weekend course. You can't learn painting and decorating on a day course. You'll learn and touch on very basic stuff, but you need the experience of actually working alongside people and doing it day to day to hone your skills. Right, let's get down to the nitty gritty of where Phil Beckwith is with his YouTube channel. Right, we have really moved on, because this time last year in the November, my viewing in a 28-day period, and that's how it works on YouTube. We work on a rolling 28-day period. So if I go back to 1 year ago, my viewing figures in the 28-day period had dropped. Now, I don't know whether it was because of the World Cup, we're coming up to Christmas, but I was roughly seeing September, October, around about 50,000 views in those 28-day period. I hit November and it dropped down to 38,000. Bit worrying. Same in December, January, February, March, April. It started picking up, which was great. But fast forward to now, currently I'm seeing 77.8 thousand views in a 28-day period. And watch time hours from last year, where I was seeing roughly about 4.8 thousand, 5.2. I'm seeing a regular over these last few months, and currently I'm seeing 6.7 thousand hours worth of watch time in a 28-day period, which is brilliant. We'll come on to the money in a minute, because money is generated not by subscribers, by actual views. Now, my total views since I started YouTube, and this is where I've hit the million, beginning of October 2023, I hit and went over 1 million views across my channel. So you saw the thumbnail, it wasn't clickbait, but 1 million. I have hit over 1 million views on YouTube, which is fantastic. It is good. And currently I have over 320 odd videos on YouTube, because don't forget I'm doing 2 videos a week. So I've got a lot of videos out there with a lot of content that people can watch. But let's put it back to the reality figures. Right, total at the moment, I've actually got 1 million. I've got 1,071,272 views. That's as of beginning of November. Let's call it 4th of November. You're watching this hopefully on the 6th. 2022, I was seeing in 2022, that period, that year, 313,181. I've got it on my notepad there. 2023, the difference for this year so far, and we are still rolling, we've not finished yet, but we are double. We are well over double. We are 663,660, and that is up 134% since 2022. And that's all down to you. It's all down to the people that are watching my channel. So I'm very grateful for that. Thank you very much. Let's get back to you people that are commenting and liking and subscribing. Right. I try to reply to as many people as I possibly can. I don't always see the comments. I've got the app on my phone. It doesn't always generate all the comments that go to every video. So I'll apologise if I don't always see and comment or give you a thumbs up, but I try and do the best I can. Again, please appreciate this all takes time. I do like people contacting me by other means as well, which is the Instagram page we've got for Beckwith Decorators. And you've also probably seen Facebook, where we've got Phil Beckwith, the professional painter and decorator, on Facebook. Those two social media channels are places where people are. And I do like it, commenting and also coming to me with personal messages on PMs. I do like that. And if you do PM me that way, I will respond. Hopefully, if you're a new responder or reply to me on Instagram, sometimes it gets spammed or something like that, but I try and find them. I try and find them the best I can. Right, in that top corner, you probably see on some of my videos, or most of them, paper motion. Now, that is all relating to the description below. I've got Amazon associate links. Now, I get a small percentage of any sales that go through Amazon associate links below and purchases, and it is a small commission. I'm not sponsored by anybody. I'm not endorsing any products or anything like that. I'm just trying to help people that if they want to purchase anything that I'm using or something that I've commented on or telling you about, there may be a link in the Amazon associates, and also that links to a storefront. You can purchase items that I'm possibly using or very similar. Now, I get a very small commission from that, and it doesn't come from the companies that are selling them on Amazon. It's more, as I understand it, a commission through Amazon. So this Amazon Associates is actually something that generates an income for YouTubers and influencers. Yeah, never mind. So that's another stream of income that people can actually get. Now, I go on about this Porsche. I'm after this Porsche. People say, why are you doing YouTube? Well, I've told you at the beginning why I'm doing YouTube, for the reasons I started YouTube. But it's not always nice to have an end goal and a light at the end of the tunnel. My light at the end of the tunnel, I'm not going to shy away from telling you, I'd like a Porsche. Simple as that. I'd like a Porsche. A classic Porsche. Mid-80s would be nice. G50s, 911s. Possibly go a little bit newer to early 90s. I'd like a 993, 964, something like that. I need £60,000 out of YouTube. I'm far from that. I'm far from that. I'll tell you in a minute how far I am from it. But as Mrs. B says, if you can earn that sort of money on YouTube, you'll be paying the mortgage off before you start spending it on a Porsche. Because I've got nowhere to put a Porsche anyway, because my studio is my garage and my car that is my Sunday drive is stuck outside under a bag. So that's that. No sponsorship by anybody, but hand on heart, if I am sponsored or somebody gives me something to promote, I will tell you. But I have to say, me being me, and I'm not being sponsored and I'm not being promoting products, I feel I can give an honest opinion of my thoughts on a product. So when you see that I've been given a tin of paint, which normally as Beckwith decorators, we get tins of paint as samples. If we get a tin of paint as a sample and I try it on Doris the Door, I can tell you what it's like. Now, if somebody's paid me to say how good it is, how genuine is that? I want to try and keep it as genuine as I possibly can. So let's move away from that income stream of earning and let's talk about where I am and how much I've actually earned from YouTube. Now, we spoke at the beginning how much time actually goes into making the videos, how much time I'm actually putting into it away from editing videos and stuff like that. It's very time consuming. So bear that in mind when you're seeing how much money I'm getting. Now I've got 1 million views. Right, let's just let's go back to 2021 in that November where I saw 55 quid. December was about 55 quid as well. But that first year saw me the £1,800. Now, we've moved on another year. So my second year, how much do I expect to see from this year? And I've not quite finished yet with the finalising of the figures. But I'm looking at just over £3,000. It's not to be... well, better than a slap in the face with a wet kipper, as the saying goes. So actually, just over 3 grand I've earned in this last 12 months. And how do we get to that? Now, each day I make a note of looking down to see how much I'm actually generating. Now, when you see the figures on the screen, when I go back to my revenue, they're working 2 days in behind. So they work 2 days behind. When I first started, I was seeing an increase per day, a few pounds. As I started the momentum going, it was £5, £6. If I saw £9, I thought I was doing well a day. If I saw £10, I thought I was doing fantastic. That £10 rose to £12. I might drop down to £9 a day. But these last few months have actually gone a little bit more than that. It might be £12, it might be £13, I might touch £14. On a good day, I might say £16. So you can see with time, it increases slowly. But that is 15, let's call it 15 quid a day. You're doing the maths on a 30-day month or a 31-day month. Well, I'm going to tell you, these last few months, July, August, September, October, been quite good. We've seen well over £200 per month. But I have to say, October was my best month so far. September was good. I just saw over £400 for the month. Now, October has just been finalised because we're in the beginning of November. I've seen, are you sitting down? Because you've still got to think about how much time I've actually put into this. £476.59. That's not bad, is it? I've got my tax to take off that, but it's not bad. Now, I try and rational this. When I used to have a pension and I stopped my pension years ago because it was paying nothing, or it would have been paying nothing if I took it out at 65, the figures that I was being quoted prior to me actually finishing and stopping that pension, what I'm generating now through YouTube is actually more than what my pension, if I'd have carried it on, would be paying me in, I'm coming up to 50 next year. I know I don't look at it. I moisturise every day. If anybody wants to sponsor me with moisturising cream, feel free, comment below. But I've got, in effect, another 15 years to pull a pension if I was doing it at 65. And the figures I was getting was, I'll be honest, just over 3 grand for a taxable pension at 65. And that was with me paying into that each month. YouTube, I'm actually seeing better returns, as in what I'm being paid. So that said, my total revenue that I've had since the start of doing YouTube being monetized is £4,844.74. I have to write it down. That's what I've earned so far. It's not a bad amount of money. But don't forget, I've had to buy a stonkingly expensive laptop. I've had to buy a new, new lens for the camera that was a couple of £100 to fit that mirrorless camera. I've also bought other little bits and pieces like the microphone that makes it a lot better for me speaking and talking to you. But all in all, let's call it £4,800 since November 2021 when I first went monetized. I'm happy with that. I want it to grow. I want the channel to grow. With your help, it will grow. And I know people are going to think I'm going to be rolling in dough from YouTube. I'm far from it. The time taken to do these videos to what the return is it minimum wage? But for me, this YouTube channel is here for a long time, and hopefully I can keep up with 2 videos a week. I want to be true to you, the viewer, true to myself, and in the words of Ali G, we're going to be keeping it real. If we are keeping it real, what I want you to realise is the money that I actually get is only a percentage of what Google/YouTube get. I believe it's on a 45 to 55% split. So if I'm seeing £100, how much is Google getting from advertising if I see £100? Or let's put it another way. Let's make it simpler. If I see £55, let's call that 55%. Google are getting £45 at 45%. But there is I believe the split is 45-55, which, hey ho, that's quite good. I suppose the return's not bad. And the other thing that you've got to be mindful of, we're paid by CPM, clicks per million. It's clicks per 1,000. So every 1,000 views that I get, the advertisers will pay a set amount of money for. Now, YouTube has actually changed the policy of actually showing you what your average is for the whole channel to more only telling you per video. Some of my videos are seeing a revenue return of about £13, £14 for every 1,000 views, which probably isn't bad. Is that better than TikTok, where they pay only a few pence per 1,000? But remember, TikTok gets millions of views on the right video or right TikTok in a short space of time. But am I right in thinking that TikTok videos are yesterday's newspaper? On that note, I'm going to say thanks for listening to me. This has been a lengthy one, but hopefully you've had a little bit of an insight on where Phil Beckwith is, being a YouTuber with 1 million views, over 7,000 subscribers, and only being monetized for 2 years. Where do we go from here? Give us some comments below. So people commenting, I like that because it shows that the algorithms will pick up on that we've got a proper active channel. And I think going forward, we've got to produce 2 videos a week, possibly, or do we drop down to 1? I'm not sure. But if you're liking this sort of content and channel, like and subscribe.